Hello and welcome uh, to this podcast. Uh, I know nothing except your name, which is Subbu. So first,
Subramaniam.
Subramaniam. So I would first want you to introduce yourself because even I don't know anything about you. Let's start there, and then we can start the conversation.
So I'm Subramaniam. मैं विशाखापट्टनम से हूँ.
Okay.
तो अभी दिल्ली में रह रहा हूँ
Oh,
कुछ दिनों के लिए. हाँ. So
that's all.
that's all. Yeah.
Something about your
मतलब
background.
later I can whenever background. Okay. Background मतलब I've like education. What I've done that.
Whenever you give a context to, we'll play it by that.
Okay. So I did my graduation from Delhi University.
Okay.
Then I did my masters. I did physics from Delhi University, and then I did my masters in public policy and governance from Tata Institute of Social Sciences.
Okay.
Then I worked for a while, थोड़ा सा, ज़्यादा नहीं. Now I am doing my PhD from Nalsar. That's a law university situated in Hyderabad.
Okay. What are you? What is your thesis or chosen subject?
My thesis, it's though I'm doing at law school, mine is thoda interdisciplinary. So it has sociological elements, psychology, culture, history. So all that. So basically, I'm looking at statelessness, the problem of statelessness and anti-outsider sentiments, the psychological response called othering, the us versus them dichotomy. So I'm looking at that, and I'm seeing how language affects our mind and how it leads to that dichotomy which we feel right now. So yeah, basically that.
Super. So I'll ask you more questions about this as and when it occurs in me. The first thought that occurred to me when I asked you, give me a context or give me a background, in a way it kind of relates to what you're doing. Because without that, the human background you gave me, that I was born and brought up in Visakhapatnam and now I'm in Delhi. It's as present as a thing could be. So how does it matter? If I were to meet you on a train, we would not talk about the other parts of our life. It was good enough. We would share a chai or mungfali, whatever is available, lunch perhaps, and we would be happy. I don't think but we feel this. So the thought that crossed my mind was that earlier times, if one were an Indian, see, I was born in my grandfather's time or a little earlier than that. First thing I would ask you, कौन जात हो भाई, कहाँ से आए हो? तो वो कास्ट है तो मैं कॉन्टेक्चुअलाइज कर सकता हूँ. अब द न्यू कास्ट इज द एजुकेशन पार्ट. वो फिजिक्स वाला है तो इंजीनियर है, तो डॉक्टर है. तो आई क्विकली ब्रैकेट यू इन वन थिंग इन माय हेड without even realizing. मतलब just because you made me pause at that point, I was forced to reflect on my question के question में कुछ गड़बड़ है क्या? And then I realized कि यार ये तो बहुत ही leading question है. वो कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में बोलते हैं लीडिंग द विटनेस.
ट्रू.
तो ये वैसा ही है. तो व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन this question itself now that we are looking at it from a new perspective? Are we really hardwired into knowing something because it gives us a sense of, is it perspective or is it control?
Is it perspective or is it control? I think these are not like watertight silos. They somewhere down the line they do meet, but there is an element of control and there is an element of perspective. We do want to acquaint oneself with the other, but then those methods we use are embroiled in control. तो आपने जो तभी यूजुअली जब भी मेरे से कोई भी सवाल पूछता है तो अब मेरे हैबिट में हो गया है वो कि मैं सीमित ही वहां तक रहता हूँ, नाम तक, और जी मैं यहाँ से हूँ। कितनी बार मेरे साथ ये हुआ है कि जब मैंने बोला है कि अरे मैं विशाखापट्टनम से हूँ, लोगों ने बहुत कमेंट करा है कि आपकी हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है, बट आई हैव नेवर indulged in the conversation where I am explaining them why my Hindi is because I have roots in Delhi also. So somewhere down the line, I feel that okay, this is enough. At least now, मतलब later चाय आएगी तो बात भी बढ़ेगी, मूंगफली आ जाएगी तो आगे बात चली जाएगी, तो उस हिसाब से।
बहुत बढ़िया. This is again interesting because this morning I was a little. I had a late dinner, so I woke up late, and my meditation that I do every morning first thing, I was a little lazy, unsure whether I wanted to sit. So should I go for a walk? Let me do some. My friend has this very interesting thing. The only thing to ask yourself, are you a seeker? That's all. If the answer is yes, then most of your problems will get resolved at some point. So I decided to go back to that question, and I just went for a walk. And then one of the answers that came to me was, okay, why are you trying to label your meditation or your seeking or your question or your deflection or your dejection with today, like you're feeling a little disoriented. ये सारी चीजें हैं तो हैं, अब उसमें क्या मतलब, like you said, कि all of them interject at some point. So this is the one question that keeps getting into me.
Okay.
How and why do we compartmentalize information? Is it possible to see it as one, or again, what is the need to compartmentalize? Do you have any thoughts on that?
What is the need to compartmentalize? Very interesting question, actually. Matlab, is the need to compartmentalize. I think it has something to do with familiarity also. I feel कि somehow we are predisposed to the known. Somehow we gather comfort in the known, or we've been taught to do so, or we've taught ourselves over time that we find comfort in familiarity. So I guess somewhere down the line, knowledge के साथ हमारा ऐसा relationship है, और वो दिखता भी है थे मेरे हिसाब से कि नॉलेज भी रिपीट हो रहा होता है, मतलब नॉलेज विद हिस्ट्री somehow feels more legitimate. I don't know.
Legitimate is a loaded term. Legitimate is a loaded term.
It is, and I intended to
load it.
have that effect, I guess. तो आपको क्या लगता है? I would like to know.
In fact, unfortunately, I am a little biased in one thing. Many years earlier, around 20-30 years back, I had an infection which lasted for more than a year and a half or something, lung infection. And I spent a lot of time meeting doctors, figuring out, ये टेस्ट हुई, आज नेगेटिव आ गई, आज पॉजिटिव आ गई, आज ये हो गया, आज वो हो गया, बहुत कुछ चल रहा था. तो एज like because it's 20-30 years earlier, तो I was what 22 to 27 के बीच में ये पूरा कश्मकश चालू था in various ways, but initial 1-1.5 साल बहुत ज़्यादा rampant था. And doctors were trying to figure out, they were trying to be nice to me. One of these days I suddenly realized they are trying to very nicely tell me that I might die of this, or they are not trying to say this because they're being a little politically correct, and I have been very vocal about how I think. So what is in my mind is always in my words most of the time. So I was a little taken aback कि ये क्या बोल रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है. तो तब I started looking at science differently. I said कि हिंदुस्तान में जो पुरातन तरीका था, so there are no biology, physics and chemistry. तो साइंस को डिमार्केट करने का ये एक तरीका, मे बी आई रेड इट समवेयर और आई हर्ड इट, इज वेरी वेस्टर्न इन कॉन्सेप्ट. यू लाइक टू डिमार्केट, यू से इतना सा ये इसका है, ये इसका है. Then they find that that's a problem. Then they make a subject called biochemistry और biophysics. तो फिर से उसको जोड़ना पड़ता है क्योंकि वो इतना कट एंड ड्राई लाइफ है नहीं. जब मैं I also used to read a lot of Zen, and when I was very intrigued by the masters kind of knowing things but never defining them. तो जैसे आपने अभी लूज रखा तो पहली बार इसको ऐसा एक हैंडल आया कि अच्छा, it's not that you're trying to withhold information. कभी भी ऐसा लगा नहीं था कि withhold है. I thought there is some kind of mastery involved, but I didn't understand how it functioned. तो आज आपने इसको ना तोड़ दिया एकदम अच्छे से कि देखो मैं हूँ विशाखापट्टनम से, मेरे रूट्स दिल्ली के हो सकते हैं, बट आई एम नॉट प्रो ऑफरिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन. जो है ठीक है ना, इवन इफ यू आर प्रिज्यूमिंग good things or bad things, I'm okay with it. Let's just live with the moment. Like I do, chai will resolve most of life's issues. So you seem to think yeah, चलो जब दो गुट पिएंगे साथ में, दो कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा निकलेगा. So that is something that I've been biased towards. You know, information को, and besides which I am a writer by profession, an advertising writer.
Okay.
तो मेरा काम compartmentalizing है ही. Most of the time I'm trying to bring a benefit and amplify it in your eyes. And तो वो करते करते over 20-25 years I have started seeing कि यार सब शब्द सच बोलते हैं ऐसा नहीं है. कभी कभी तुम partial truth दिखाना चाहते हो, कभी कभी तुम amplified truth दिखाना चाहते हो. But in my mind, how do you sell your profession to yourself if you feel you are wrong or right? So I used to think कि यार एक नीड है, कोई पैसे खर्च कर रहा है एक तरीके का कम्युनिकेशन मेरे से करवाने के लिए. तो जब मैं उसे पैसे ले रहा हूँ तो मैं अपना इनपुट्स थोप नहीं सकता. आई हैव टू बी ट्रू टू द प्रोफेशन एंड इट्स नीड्स. ओवर अ पीरियड फिर मैं अल्कोहल पे काम नहीं करता, फार्मास्यूटिकल पे काम नहीं करता, रमी सर्कल जैसी चीजों पे काम नहीं करता. जो भी चीजें मुझे लगती है कि मैं नहीं चाहूंगा कि आई विल इंडल्ज इन, आई विल नॉट help the society indulge in those. But that is one pattern I have kept. So compartmentalizing to me, the need is more about greed sometimes, or else you put a nice term to it. It sounds very legit to us. यार ये मैंने सुना है कहीं, ये मैंने पढ़ा है तो शायद ठीक होगा. And interestingly, because आप ऐसे ही सब्जेक्ट के साथ काम कर रहे हैं जहाँ us versus them वाला theory आ रहा है, तो ये डेफिनेशन का नीड भी बहुत ही ईगोसेंट्रिक है कि यार ये मेरे जैसा है, ये मेरे जैसा नहीं है. तो when you said this PhD कर रहा हूँ तो पहले ही मैं थोड़ा ऐसा डो ऑफ हो गया अंदर, यार ये तो पढ़ा लिखा है, मेरे से ज्यादा पता नहीं क्या करता होगा. फिर वो then you explain the subject, I said अरे ये सब्जेक्ट तो मेरे भी इंटरेस्ट का है, तो मैं भी कंट्रोल में आ गया. हाँ, कंट्रोल. तो ये सारी चीजें बहुत सटल है, और विदाउट मेडिटेटिंग ऑन देम और कॉन्टेम्पलेटिंग ऑन देम और स्पेंडिंग टाइम स्टडिंग योरसेल्फ, ये हाथ में आता नहीं है ये चीज इजीली. So that is something. So my question to you, why have you chosen this othering ka point as a subject? Because it's very beautiful, it's very contemporary, it's something that we are really hurtling towards as a world, as a nation, as a state, as a district, as a family. Everybody is hurtling towards ke yaar ye aisa, main aisa, and we are quite proud of it, unfortunately.
True.
तो ये सब्जेक्ट कैसे आया, और अभी मतलब ऊपर से क्या ख्याल है आपके अदरिंग के बारे में कि दूसरे लोग अलग हैं, मैं अलग हूँ?
हाँ, तो इसके लिए मतलब मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा कि मैं यहाँ तक कैसे पहुंचा. पहले तो मेरे को लगता है कि जो मतलब मैं कर रहा हूँ वो मेरे साथ हुआ. तो बेसिकली इट वाज हैपेंस्टेंस कि I did my master's का thesis was refugee crisis, रोहिंग्या मुस्लिम्स पे मैं कुछ कर रहा था, and that was not of my choosing. my supervisor, my mentors were like, "Arey, do it. This is such a lucrative." That's what the word was used. कि अरे ऐसे करो ना ये it has future, at least research per se. You can it's happening right now. You could just look into it. So I did it, मतलब masters में. And then after that मेरा जब masters हो गया, I was working, I was sort कर रहा था मैं कि क्या है, मैं करना क्या चाहता हूँ. तो उस सॉर्टिंग में मुझे समझ आया कि भाई अभी तो नहीं, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा, मतलब जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन वाला काम है वो मेरे को अभी तक समझ नहीं आ रहा. तो मैंने कहा चलो एकेडमिक्स. एंड देन आई अप्लाइड एट नालसा without even thinking much about it, and then without even deliberating other options. तो मैंने करा, हो गया मेरा, तो मैं ज्वाइन कर गया. तो फिर मैंने कहा अच्छा चलो ये हो कैसे रहा है. फिर आई वाज लाइक it is happening, just I don't know, I'm a witness to it. कहीं ना कहीं मतलब जहाँ एक पॉइंट पे मैंने कंट्रोल अज्यूम करा था, पर ऐसा हुआ कि ड्यूरिंग द जर्नी समवेयर वो धागे और वो जो मतलब हाँ वो छूट गए मेरे से कि मैंने आई गेव इन और यील्डेड. ये भी मतलब मैं कुछ सूफी टर्म्स में नहीं कह रहा कि अरे आई यील्डेड टू हायर फोर्स, बट ऐसे हुआ अननोइंगली मेरे से हुआ कि मैं ऐसा विटनेस बन गया कि आई एम लाइक अरे चलना हो रहा है क्या है, मतलब कंफर्ट था. देयर इज दिस मूवी दैट आई लाइक, बिग लेबाउस्की करके. वो आई लाइक द कैरेक्टर. ही इज अ chill guy, okay, he does not take anything to heart, so I was very much inspired by it. तो इन अ वे ऐसे इंस्पायर होते होते मैं कहीं ना कहीं उसको एमुलेट करने लगा और आई वाज लाइक ओके, so kind of gave up control, and then I somehow came here Nalsar में. So then something about othering was that मतलब I pitched my master's का work to Nalsar के लोग कि this is what I did, my thesis. So that and some other proposal was there. So basically that. So from there refugee crisis से othering तक का leap ये था basically somehow I don't know, मतलब I feel this. There is this essence that pervades us all. I don't know, I can't explain or something. I at least like this idea that an essence is pervading it through us all. It's like something, some fundamental, एक quintessential element है जो you know मतलब it connects us somehow, मतलब वो and then I was also reading those days अद्वैत वेदांत का कुछ भी मतलब छोटा छोटा इधर उधर. And then I was also inspired by grief. I don't know how I was inspired by grief. मुझे लगता है कि दुख है ना पिघला देता है सम आदमी के जो ठोस को पिघला के it kind of gives a form which is very malleable, and that form I think is of interest to me, and I see that form in everyone. So the ability of grief to break you down to your most fundamentals and make you see that you are fundamentals and whatever you see is fundamental. So that essence somehow कैसे भी हुआ, movies से हुआ, music से हुआ, ऐसे कुछ instances भी हुए होंगे मतलब which I do not give primacy to कि हाँ ये ही एक incident था इसकी वजह से हुआ. बहुत सारी चीजें थी, हर चीज का हाथ था. जैसे बोलते हैं ना, nothing of me is original. I am all the people
Some
I've
of
met
all
there.
that has happened to me.